there. Welcome to the Movie Review Mom YouTube channel. If this is the very first time you found my channel, yay, you're finally here. I'm so glad. And if you're a returning subscriber, yay, thanks for coming back. As you know already, my goal is to give you the heads up on filmmaking quality and content so that you can decide whether or not you want to spend time or money or both sometimes watching a particular film. So the movie I'm reviewing today is called 5 Pounds of Pressure. This gritty drama is now available in select theaters, as well as simultaneously playing and available on video on demand sites such as Amazon Prime Video, Fandango Now, Google Play, and even YouTube for pay. So the movie is rated R. It's an hour and 51 minutes, and my overall movie review mom grade is a C. So let me explain why. I'll give you an overview in a nutshell, and then I'll point out things I really liked, things I didn't like, tips for parents, themes worth talking about, funny lines, interesting lines, and recommendations for other films that are sort of similar that you might also really like. All right, so with that, you ready to dive in? Me too. So in a nutshell, the story is about Adam, who's played beautifully by Luke Evans, who searches for redemption and a second chance as he returns to his old neighborhood to put to rest his demons while the brother of the man he killed seeks revenge. The film was directed by Phil Alaco, who based this off of his own 2016 short film called The Mirror. So let me first give you tips for parents. The film is definitely rated R and deserves that rating. It is not appropriate for kids. There is a lot of profanity, including many F-bombs. There is just gutter life represented with terrible people making terrible life choices. We see some disgusting bloody violence with various weapons, lots of tattoos on people drinking alcohol, taking drugs, smoking in various formats. And there's a scene that takes place in a strip club. So we see women dancing suggestively and scantily clad in the background. Luckily, that's all of that part. Some of the themes that are illustrated really well are forgiveness, redemption, second chances, revenge, regrets, choices, and consequences, and guns, specifically what guns can do. So, and I'll get more into that here in just a minute. So there were a lot of things I really did like about this movie. For example, I adore Luke Evans. He is great at action, drama, comedy, and he can sing and dance. He gives a great performance, as always, in this movie. And I was really curious why he would pick this script because he can choose anything. He's that talented. And so when the movie first started, I was like, I'm not seeing it. But my guess is by the end of the movie that he was really compelled and wanted to make a political statement for gun control. I could be wrong, but that's why I'm guessing he took this. It gave him a chance to play a certain type of role, but it was also really gritty and grimy and dirty. Dirty as in, you're spending all this time in the gutter. And I thought, if I were a great actor, I wouldn't want to spend any minutes doing that. But anyway, I love the intriguing title. 5 Pounds of Pressure refers to the fact that it takes 5 pounds of pressure to pull the trigger on a gun. Only 5 pounds of pressure is required to take and end a life. In the story, we see how 5 pounds of pressure ruined so many people's lives, so devastating. That being said, it would be fascinating and fair and balanced to watch a movie where that same pounds of pressure could save a life. Rarely do we hear of crimes that are prevented by people who have the right to conceal and carry a gun. It happens all the time, but we don't see movies about that either. The cast also includes Rory Culkin, Alex Pettyfer, Stephanie Leonidas, I'm not sure how she pronounces her name, Rudy Pancott, and many more. I thought they all did a fine job painting a picture of a certain kind of life. Now, I have seen critics rip to shreds the cast and say that the acting was terrible. But I think that they did a good job with the material they were given, and they definitely painted a very believable picture, I thought, in just, again, how grimy it is to live in the gutter like that. Fun fact, the movie is supposed to take place in Brooklyn, New York, although it was actually filmed in Manchester, England. Lesson number one, if you're trying to get a fresh start, don't go back to the place where you made all of the wrong choices before. It is so much harder that way. Lesson number two, surround yourself with people who lift and inspire you, not drag you down. And we definitely see examples of that. Now, onto the list of things that I didn't like. Really, I only thought of a couple of things, but they were kind of big things, which is why I gave it the grade that I did. First of all, obviously, I hate spending time in the gutter with characters who can't speak a sentence without an F-bomb, who have terrible life choices. And I truly decided to watch this movie based on the presence of Luke Evans. And again, I just kind of assumed it would be a really great movie. It is for the powerful message that it gives, but that doesn't come until really the last few minutes of the movie. And the bulk of the movie, you're just sitting there having just trash and garbage, thrown at you, so to speak. Now, I get it. That is definitely an element that exists in our world. I guess I just was hoping for a message, a movie that would send a strong message without me having to sit through all that, which I know is completely unrealistic. But there you go. And then I think that the film felt especially long because it took a really long time to get to the point that it wanted to make. And I didn't enjoy being immersed in that environment for almost 2 hours. It was really long. And I think the film definitely could have been cut. I could think of some scenes that could have been cut. The same message would have been received. I just think it could have been tightened and been a stronger movie for it. So whenever I watch movies, I take notes, of course, and I write down funny lines and interesting lines simply so I can share them with you so you can get a taste for the script writing and dialogue in the movie. And I looked at my notes and I didn't write down anything funny. This is a serious drama, but I did write down a couple of lines. And whenever I have lots and lots of lines, you can see all of them on my written review at moviereviewmom.com. So here are a couple of lines. The first one is we find out that Luke Evans' character is getting out of prison after many years, and he had made a phone call to an old friend and said he was coming and could he stay there, but then he didn't actually show up at the apartment for like a month later, and the guy wasn't expecting him. His friend was like, "Why didn't you call sooner?" He's like, "Oh, well, I kind of did." But anyway, so the room was completely unprepared for him. And so this friend who is going to share the apartment with Luke Evans's character says, "You need anything else? Go without it. It's just bare bones filled with boxes and dust and, that kind of stuff." So not exactly a warm welcome, but he's grateful to have the opportunity for a second chance. And so begins his adventure. And then another interesting line was shared by Savannah Stain's character, or Stein. I don't know how to pronounce her name. And she gives really good advice. She says to somebody, "When something's over, let it be over." And I like that because of the theme of second chances. And so many times we say we've forgiven somebody, but then we really hold that grudge in our hearts. Or something has happened in the past and we can't change the past and we beat ourselves up over it. And so I like that line. I think it's really good advice. Now, while I was watching this movie, I instantly thought of three films that are sort of similar that I wanted to tell you about in case they slipped under your radar. The first one is a movie called The Way of the Gun. And again, the biggest message I felt like as the biggest takeaway was gun control and the damage that guns do have in our society today, which I think is accurate. Another one is Dirty Harry, because, he's kind of down there living in the gutter, but he's got a serious set of skills and all of that. And then the last one is a more modern take on it. Well, not to say that this one wasn't modern, because it's modern day New York or Brooklyn, but it's really in Manchester, England. But anyway, The Accountant is another film that shows what people are willing to do for money, for revenge, for second chances, and all of that. I think really interesting plots and storylines, and ones that are perfect fodder for conversations if you watch it with friends or family. But they're all rated R movies, so just a heads up on that. When you get a minute, run over to my Facebook group and join my Movie Review Mom Facebook group. And you can also find me all over social media, but especially on Instagram as Trina Boice, which is me, my author name, well, my real name, where you can learn about my books, my products, my other shenanigans. And then also you can find me on Instagram as Movie Review Mom. All right, that's it. I hope if you watch this movie that you enjoy it. I don't know if enjoy is the best word, because again, the content is so ugly. However, the message is very powerful and strong in the end. All right, have a fantastic day, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye for now.